Have you ever noticed how most financial advice starts with the same assumption? That if you just budget better, invest earlier, or optimize your money, things will work out. But what if the real issue isn't discipline, and it isn't intelligence, and it isn't even spending irresponsibly? What if most financial advice quietly ignores the actual financial reality of the modern middle class? Let's take a very normal scenario. You're in your mid to late 20s or early 30s. You live in the US, the UK, or somewhere in Europe. You did what you were told to do. You studied. You got a job. You earn, let's say, the equivalent of $65,000 a year. On paper, that sounds solid. After taxes, that might be around $3,800 per month hitting your bank account. Now let's look at life, not extravagance, just normal life, rent or mortgage, $1,400 utilities, internet, phone, $250 car payment or public transport, $450 insurance and fuel, $250 student loan or education-related debt, $300 before food, before savings, before entertainment, before travel. Before enjoying your life, you're already at roughly $2,650 per month. Now add groceries, maybe $1 for 100. Occasional eating out, another $100. We're now around $3,000 to $150. That leaves $550. This is the part where most financial advice stops being honest, because that remaining $550 is supposed to cover emergency savings, retirement, investing, unexpected expenses, clothing, social life, and somehow long-term wealth building. And if you don't manage to do all of that, the narrative subtly becomes, you need better habits. But here's the middle-class reality most advice ignores. Your financial margin is structurally thin, not because you're careless, but because modern life is designed that way. The hidden mistake isn't overspending. It's assuming that stable income automatically creates financial progress. Let's look at one small example. A $450 car payment doesn't feel dramatic, but over 5 years, that's $27,000, not including insurance, fuel, maintenance, or interest. That's not a bad decision. It's a socially normal one, and that's exactly the problem. Most middle-class financial traps don't feel reckless. They feel responsible. They feel adult. They feel deserved, psychologically. This happens for a simple reason. Humans adapt quickly. When income goes up, expectations quietly rise with it, not out of greed, but out of normalization. A nicer apartment becomes reasonable. A newer car becomes safer. Travel becomes important for balance. Convenience becomes necessary. None of these choices feel wrong in isolation, but together, they absorb future flexibility, and flexibility is what creates real financial security. If this pattern continues for 10 or 15 years, something subtle happens. You earn more, you appear successful, but your financial stress never really disappears, because your lifestyle grew alongside your income, step by step. So when people say, I make good money, but I still feel stuck, they're not confused. They're experiencing a system working exactly as designed, financially. Intelligent people don't escape this by being extreme or frugal. They think differently. They don't ask, can I afford this monthly? They quietly ask, what does this remove from my future options? They value financial breathing room more than visible success. They see savings not as discipline, but as leverage. And they treat lifestyle upgrades as permanent decisions, not rewards. It's less about saying no to things, and more about protecting freedom you haven't used yet. This isn't about guilt, and it's not about regret. It's about clarity. Once you see that the middle-class challenge isn't effort, but margin, you stop blaming yourself, and you start making calmer, more intentional choices. Not to get rich fast, but to stay flexible, resilient, and quietly ahead of pressure. If this perspective helped you see your finances a little more clearly, you can support the channel by liking the video or subscribing. Nothing dramatic, just thoughtful conversations about money without the noise.